Welcome to How to Get the Most Out of Driveclub for what little bit of more time Driveclub has left of online. Just to point out for certain, Driveclub servers are still on. There was a particular quite big racing game YouTuber who I shall not name because kind of like Driveclub, he actually used to be relevant and popular, but still, technically speaking, is popular and is actually still the biggest one on the platform, sort of like Driveclub as well. It made an oopsie, I'll say that, and said that Driveclub servers are offline. I didn't watch the rest of the video to see if he figured it out because I just Jiminy Cricket, I couldn't manage it. I remember the old days back when he and this game too were both popular. But anyway, this is now, and Driveclub is still relevant because it hasn't really gotten any worse. It's just less people playing. No one will be able to play online come April of next year. Like the servers go off March 31st of 2020. Not now. The servers are still on now. They're just kind of slow. So anyway, let's get into actually how to get the most out of the game. Well, they're still the main part of the game, being online. Granted, the offline for Driveclub is really cotton good, but kind of to start off of getting the most out of Driveclub. If you have money and want to spend it, one of the ways to get the most out of Driveclub is buy the paid DLCs. Yeah, there's a whole heck of a heap of them. Granted, it is new content, but it's not free, and Driveclub definitely doesn't have the worst DLCs, but I mean, it's still money that you pay to get the most content. So, I didn't get the bulk of them. The only one that I got was actually the one with the Dodge Challenger in it, because it's a Dodge Challenger, and I mean, I'm on Team Mopar, so it makes sense to at least have some type of Dodge that I drive. And that was one of the things where PlayStation Network just gave everyone $10 for some reason, and then I used that on Driveclub, so that worked. But beyond that, how to get the most out of the game of just the base online bits. To start off, there's still actually just an online lobby portion, or sort of kind of like Gran Turismo had before, quick matches. There's Driveclub Bikes if you have it, and regular Driveclub, it's the one that I have. Which, yeah, you can just go online, you can race against your friends, or just an open lobby, and there's still a whole heck of a heap of options. The general what's on top of each track, from what I can tell, don't really matter. Like, the icon explains what the event is. Like, if it's an icon like this, yeah, it's time trials, duh. But, I mean, really about the only difference between what's on top is some of them are teams, where it's like red versus blue, and more times than not, the max you're going to get is 1-on-1. Occasionally, I've never seen more than about 5 people on any particular race in the past few months. Maybe the game will pick up some once it's closer to being done with completely online. But nonetheless, there's a lot of races to choose from. The chances of actually getting someone else to enter the race you choose is low. But I will say this, luckily this is good for me because it's one of my favorite tracks as well. Races like this seem to be the more popular ones. The one at this particular track, the layout of the track doesn't matter. But it's this, and I guarantee I'll butcher the name, that Tamil Nadu, something like that. The track with the elephant statue. That's generally a pretty popular one. Go race with that, and that seems to be the best chance of getting someone in it. Which also leads to the next thing, too, is doing the general competitive events, challenges. There's the player challenges and then the team challenges, and the most popular for both are also with this track. Like here are just the general recommended ones. This is also one of the things I find weird as well. I assume it's Sony running it, but there's really no confirmation of it. There's still just Driveclub recommends you challenges to do, and it's also, I've noticed, different by region. For people I go on their accounts who are from Europe, have different recommended challenges than America. So I assume Sony America, Europe, Asia still runs the individual what challenges are recommended, and you can get them from there. Another thing that they actually have too, that are overall challenges that get the most amount of people, so therefore you do them, they have the best amount of competition, because most amount of people entered, And also the most XP you can get from them are in this section. Meaning evolution. As y'all know, they don't exist anymore, but yet these challenges still do exist somehow. I'm not going to question it. These are the most popular ones. And, well, I mean, this is just the state of Driveclub, folks. Popular's in the eye of the beholder. I mean, I remember when some of these events got over 5,000 people. Now, the best one's 344, and that's, I mean, I'm kind of the same way. That's pretty much the only one I've done. Which leads to the next point. As y'all can see, it's not shown to have necessarily done an event. That's because the servers are sort of kind of messed up. Eventually, if you do an event, it'll load, but the amount of eventually is extremely relative. So while you can do the events, it might not load the actual ranking that you are. Like, look here, folks. It's showing that I've done the event, but it doesn't show my ranking on it. So a good way to actually get the best out of Driveclub is return to it. Run an event once, you're probably not going to actually see where you're ranked, because it takes a random amount of time to actually know your ranking. Which is a bit scary for events that legitimately try to win, but obviously that's different on your skill level, because you just have to get lucky of when it loads. So you don't really know if you're ahead or not. But yeah, I think this event, by looking down, up and down the rankings, even though it doesn't show my own ranking, I'm roughly 60th-ish. Like, it only goes down to 50 of the top 50, but I'm slightly slower than that, so it's about 60th. That's a good way to get the best out of it immediately, is just sort of calculate your time by the rankings it does so. But yeah, to get the overall amount of it to actually see your ranking, you will have to return to the game later. But that's kind of the point of the video. To get the most out of the game, obviously, you're playing it more. That just makes logical sense. So then you come back. And after you come back and do the individual player stuff, or just whatever order you want to do it, there's also the team aspect. And yes, I shall go ahead and make this an ad, because it's obviously a good point too. In order to do team events, you either have to make your own team, which as of now, honestly, unless you have people still playing Driveclub who just so happen to not be on a team, which is extremely rare nowadays. If you start your own team, 99% chance no one's going to join. Because there's just so people left who are new, aka not on a team. So you actually have to have at least 2 people on the team to qualify for events. I don't particularly like this rule because, I mean, there's plenty of sports which have one-person racing teams. I mean, NASCAR has it. I think IndyCar has it. I mean, there's a lot of sports that have that. But nonetheless, that's a thing. And oddly enough, too, is you can actually join a lot of the better teams out there still. Where Driveclub has kind of died down in popularity, a lot of the real popular teams aren't even active anymore. Like, I mean, here's a factoid of information right yonder. Team Mopar is still active and quite high ranked. There's still a spot open here. If you want to join Team Mopar, anyone can join. It's open. But I will say this is, I am attempting to get the team. I mean, the whole team is too. There's still probably about 3 or so drivers still active who are on the team. To get the team by the time the online ends, so aka March 31st next year, to 100th in the world. I will say this, since I've said that, which was in the last Driveclub video that I did, I guess was about a month ago, really, when all this was announced. It was early April that I did that video, earliest May now. We've gained the 1 spot of the 25 needed, and I mean, we've only gained 1 spot. We need to do about double that. 2 spots per month would do it roughly where we need to be. But also, I've been in school till almost just now, so I can be more active. One more active person will probably get us there. Like, in general, I have 2 fairly active players-ish still on the team. That varies, obviously. I will try to be pretty cotton-picking active. One more pretty cotton-picking active driver could probably get Team Mopar into the top 100. So if you want to join a team that's still active, Thus, I can make challenges and all that too if you want. That will ultimately be within the top 100 when game ends. Team Mopar is probably your best option. But I'll admit too, there's some inactive teams that are really high up ranked. Like as far as I think 20th or so in the world, that actually have a spot open just for people leaving because inactive or whatever. That also allow you to join without a request. So you can either join an inactive team that was popular and kind of falling down in popularity, or a team that's been on the up and up for the entire time Driveclub's been around. I'd go with that one, folks, but that's just me. That's just me. Wink, wink. It's just me. But anyway, as for the actual getting most of the game with team challenges, less overall teams sort of kind of do the challenges because obviously you have to at least have 2 per team and it's only 1 per thing, and only 1 driver counts for your team. Like 2 people on the same team can't enter the same team challenge. But it seems like in general the team challenges still have quite a lot of players. Like you can have a team of 6 people on it, and there's still a lot of those teams of 6 people on it that do the challenges. AKA, even if the team's big, you still probably only be like 1 or 2 active people left on it at max. So the variation between how many people do team challenges versus player challenges, I mean, yeah, by default it's always has been, always will be. More people doing the player challenges, but the gap has lessened throughout the years. Like as y'all can see, no matter what, the numbers are low now. I mean, the most popular of the player challenges was about 300, and that was one of the recommended ones that was almost over. I mean, now with a very repeated load, I haven't seen a number higher than 40-something for teams, but I mean, take that as you may, though, too, because it can still be competitive. I mean, here are the rankings for it. I'm doing more team challenges again because I'm more focused on the team at this point. As y'all can see, I mean, there's some out there that are competitive. Like, this one has over 100, and I actually attempted to be first in it, and still I'm only 7th, so there's a lot of competition there. For no matter your skill level as well, because you can also make your own challenge and then send it to other people. Granted, if you send it to other people, generally it's a public challenge, so they can send it to others as well. But if you send it to people you know are worse than you, and then they're still active enough to do it, then you can finish first as well. That works, kind of, sort of. I've done that in the past. And in theory, I can also do that in the future if needed too, because, I mean, as y'all can see, Mopar has drifters left, Mopar has time trials left. I can attempt to do the occasional bike challenges, but I don't have that DLC. So that would be a good thing to enter Team Mopar too, is if you happen to have the bikes DLC, wink wink, do those challenges. But essentially what I'm saying is whatever challenge you do, I mean, I can help the best with like getting it going and stuff. Like I can send it to other teams and all that if you don't have their contacts and all that, so I can get a challenge that you want to do to whoever you want it to be to, pretty much. And there's also this aspect of it too, of this is a straight up bragging, not gonna lie. But if you join Team Mopar, as y'all can see, is kind of sort of doing good in a lot of challenges, so it's a big name team. Granted, it's not the highest ranked, but it's far, far, far from the lowest as well. There's roughly about 750,000 teams out there. Mopar is going to end up in the top 100. It's pretty good. Not going to lie. But I'd say literally it's not even too much of an over-exaggeration. There's, out of the 120-ish teams that are head of Team Mopar right now, probably only about 40 of those are still active. So ultimately, in total active teams, by the end of the game, Mopar probably be in about the top 35 or so. Not bad. So if you want to join a team that's been high up in the rankings for a long time, to the point of they're still pretty picking high in the overall rankings now, and are still active as well, I'd recommend Team Mopar. 1 spot left, and in general, it'll go to kind of sort of who's there first, because anyone can join. But I'll see how stuff goes from there. I mean, I don't necessarily want to kick people, but there is a second option as well. Because, look at this, folks. I went the wrong thing. Yeah. Look at this, folks. That was the right thing. Da 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 da. There is a Team Mopar 2. Which, granted, it's almost full as well. But, I mean, look at the amount of people on it. Nothing against the people who are on it, because anyone can join. But, essentially, if you're level 120 and want to join, you're in. Like, I'll make room for you on Team Mopar 2, that's for sure. And most likely, if you're the first 120 to join and you're so active in one, you get there too. So, there's a lot of options on the team aspect to keep Driveclub interesting. Because, while, as I said, overall more people do the player things, I sort of have more connections on the team side of it to make the competition more fun. Finally, the best way also to get the most out of Driveclub Online that's left too is it's not even one aspect of the game in general. It's just enjoy the overall atmosphere of what's here too. No matter your skill level and challenges, there's XP in which will make you go up anyway. So really, I don't care how good you are, just as long as you're active. And that's a good part too, is that Driveclub is, I mean, it's on tracks. There's no real world tracks in the game. So every track in the game, you're not going to be able to drive with other people or against other people, whether it's a ghost or whatever, a year from now. So that overall is probably the most important way to get the most out of Driveclub Online, is just enjoy the game itself while it's online. I mean, you can do whatever competition you want, whether it's racing directly against other people in like the open lobbies, or doing player and team challenges, whatever it may be. Most importantly, just have fun. Enjoy the tracks. And other videos I've done about getting the most out of games before they're gone, like Gran Turismo 6 and such. I mentioned actually watching other people enjoy it too, like your favorite YouTubers and all that who do that. But I'll be honest, while bigger YouTubers do still do the occasional Driveclub video, I don't really know of any true dedicated Driveclub YouTubers anymore. I mean, if y'all know one, definitely link it in the description, but there's not too much left of Driveclub on YouTube. There's tons of old videos, that's for sure, but yeah. That's honestly kind of sad, too, because, I mean, it's just a fact of whatever information Driveclub has the most players of any PlayStation 4 racing game, for better or worse. It does. And it's looking like it's definitely going to stay like that. I mean, obviously, GT Sport will gain more players overall than Driveclub will for the rest of the time, but the gap in which GT Sport has to make up just straight up ain't going to happen. With GT7 looking like it's definitely going to be a PS5 game. It's it. Driveclub wins. No matter how relevant it is now, it's still overall the most popular. So, that's that, folks. That's how to get the most out of Driveclub. I can help with the best as possible with the team aspect, but no matter how you decide to go about getting the most out of it, most importantly, just have fun and enjoy what's here, because what's here is something pretty cotton-picking unique. A lot of people said, who's played the other games, which I haven't, Driveclub is sort of a spiritual successor to Project Gotham Racing, which was on the Xbox. I don't know about that, especially because it's on a complete different platform, and it's made by a different company and all that. Plus, I've never played the Project Gotham games, but well, that somewhat makes it sound like Driveclub ain't the most unique. It's more just a copy of that game that sort of failed, especially that they're not making them anymore. They're not making Driveclub either, but it's hard to say that Driveclub necessarily failed either. Because if you say Driveclub failed, GT Sport failed miserably. Granted, I don't think GT Sport was the biggest success in the world, but I think monetarily it still was a success. But then yet Evolution Studios went out of business. I don't know if they straight up went bankrupt or if Sony just didn't want to field them anymore, but Well, that's it, folks. I mean, that's not it for Drive Club videos. I'll be doing more. I mean, that's kind of the point of this video, but not tons more, I really don't think. I'll say this, I ain't gonna do more Drive Club videos than GT Sport videos, even though Drive Club is a much better game. GT Sport just has a lot bigger player base still. Even it's pretty small now. So that's kind of sad to say, too. But, I mean, this is the point. To try to get Drive Club's player base a bit better. And this is sort of what I saw in End 2 is this is probably the least popular mode of Drive Club, just going on to general online racing. But there's so many events too. I'll just end it with this and see if I actually make it in the event. There's a minute left with this event, and it's the most popular one. As of now, I'm recording this video on a Wednesday afternoon. As far as I know, it connects to anyone in the world, so it could already be Thursday in some areas. It might still be Tuesday in some areas. I'm not really sure. But essentially what I'm saying is Drive Club, least popular mode, can maybe still get some people to play it. But I'm doing this live, so I don't 100% know if it will, but that's sort of the point of ending off the video, is the mystery of the game itself. While the servers aren't great and there's not too many people playing it, there's still a lot of new things to find. You can attempt to see if you can race new people online, and that in and of itself is a cool thing to do in any game. Racing an unranked match in any game, and just maybe you find some cool people to race with. At the very least, you find new people to race with, for better or worse. And maybe if you even don't find anyone, then go to the other events and do that in a spare time. So anyway, I'll end this video here to see if there actually ends up being someone, and if it even connects at all. But nonetheless, either way, it's still worth a yeehaw, because even if it doesn't connect, I can attempt to connect at other events, and even if the rankings don't load, well, I don't have to worry about that right now, because hallelujah, there's 3 people in this race, which is live proof Drive Club is still a little bit relevant. And I think that's most definitely worth a yeehaw. Now let's go win this race. Maybe if it's good, I'll specialtate it. Yeehaw!